This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, Tifa gets something raunchy from a Crunchyroll mystery bag.
Thanks, Crunchyroll.
I was going to say, and you got that in a box which anyone of any age could buy.
Yes!
Princess Mononoke gets a Aussie twist. San and Thingo.
Ashitaka?
No, it's Thingo.
Thingo.
And we talk about unexpected romances. I bet you Bullet Train is going to have a romance subplot.
I don't know with who, though.
The train.
Now that would be interesting.
He's like, I can't quit you.
Oh,
I
God.
can't quit riding bullet trains.
Oh my god.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tuned in to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast we dive in the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts Tifa and Kenny. How's
Hey-o.
everyone doing?
Hello.
Yeah, it's surviving. Yourself?
Yeah, surviving.
Surviving.
Sounds about right.
we will talk about why Tifa is just surviving in a little while because she's had a very, very busy week.
Yeah.
But we are talking about Princess Mononoke, the wonderful Ghibli film, which is now at its 25th anniversary, which is, as I mentioned in the YouTube video, wild to think that it's been 25 years since this came out and it is still incredibly relevant today. Now, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. We've got monthly anime videos and interviews on the YouTube channel as well, and all of our social media stuff where we share anime news. But let's get stuck in because there's been a lot to talk about in the new season, and we're going to ignore most of that.
Yes.
Because we've been looking into... Well, we do have something from the new season to talk about, but we also have been looking into some interesting manga and something from the back catalogue.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Daddy, ohaya.
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know. Hooray, I did the thing.
Oni-chan, nani wo miru? What we're watching. Alrighty. So, Kenny,
Hello.
you've been reading.
Yes. I'm literate.
I'm very concerned by that prospect.
What?
No. I've known you're literate for a long time, my friend.
You've just seen some of the weirder stuff I read.
I'm sitting there going, has he been reading the Necronomicon Nom Nom again or something like that? Like the, what is it? The
recipes.
It does. It's like, if you would like
Fair
to know
enough,
how
fair
to
enough.
make a Cthulhu cake, it's got you covered.
Delicious.
Tentacles and all. But
Delicious.
no, I've been moving away from the black occult arts and cookery, and I've been reading Roaming the Apocalypse with my Shiba Inu.
That sounds fantastic,
fantastic.
though.
It's adorable. It's a 4-coma kind of just gag manga. Mm-hmm. And while it should be like a very, very dark subject matter, like this girl and her talking Shiba Inu
Love that.
are the only sentient things seemingly left on Earth.
I do wonder if, like, the dog is actually talking or if she's just mad.
We've
like
seen an
imagining
anime
it,
where that happened before, the School Live Club, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, you saw that one then as well.
Yeah,
that was...
Shovels.
But yes, Roaming the Apocalypse with my Shiba it's dumb and adorable. And I can already hear the girl that voiced Aqua doing the voice of the Shiba Inu in like an animated version.
That's good.
I could honestly see this becoming an anime pretty soon.
So this is a 4-coma, so 4-panel gag. Is there many pages per chapter, or is it just like one page and that's it for a while?
Oh no, there's like many pages. I think there's a good like 20 or so chapters now.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's like it's like there's a full like manga there for you to like explore and enjoy if you feel so inclined. But no, this is just something like I was sitting at my computer going, all right, I should actually start watching something for the podcast so I've got something to talk about. And now I just start flicking through like there's a comic on 9gag. It's an adorable Shiba Inu talking to a woman.
Perfect.
I want to know more. And
Well,
then I completely just avoided watching anime for a week.
So the official English title is Doomsday with My Dog, which is definitely not as cool as Roaming the Apocalypse with my Shiba Inu. It has got, the first volume came out in English is due for official release in English this December.
Oh, wow.
We have got 3 volumes released so far, and I do wonder if that's where it has ended. No, it's still continuing. I think there's just been a delay. So 2018, 2019, 2020.
Yeah, I make no admissions for where I read it.
No, look, as you said, you saw it on 9gag. Like, you were like, well, I'm going to look into this.
Yeah, that's the full story.
Wait, there's an anime.
What?
Is there?
It's going to be released on YouTube in quarter 3 of 2022. Sentai has licensed it.
Oh.
So it's an original net anime adaptation.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
announced in June this year. We must have just missed that with all the stuff that came out from Anime Expo. It is animated by DLE and it's directed by Sora Tanegawa. It's going to be quarter 3, so that's
do we
next
have a
anime
cast
season.
list for it yet?
We've got 2 voices listed. Maya Uchida is going to voice the master, and Mutsumi Tamura is going to voice the dog.
Tsumi Tamura, who is
So Maya Uchida is best known for Norman in Promised Netherland, Rika Takanashi in Love, Trinibio and Other Delusions, Ranko Kaguya in Idolmaster, and Liluka Ade in Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. The dog is going to be voiced by... Holy cow, she's done a lot. She has done a lot. A lot of older... No, not older stuff. 2007 onwards.
I see Tales of the Abyss in her
Yeah.
filmography.
Yep.
Samurai Harem.
Clannad After Story, just some random boy. Literally, that's what
Got
it
to
says.
start somewhere.
A boy in
Cat
episode
Planet
15.
Cuties.
Nice.
Let's go all the way to something a
Oh,
bit more
Tiger and
recent.
Bunny.
Oh.
She's
As-
also been in Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Hey, Naruto Shippuden.
She's Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Oh, no way.
There you go. So there we go. There's a lot in her thing here too.
Was she in Naruto?
Young Kakashi.
Oh, really?
She was Lutz in Ascendance of a Bookworm as well.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's a lot, and she's in Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer this season.
Oh my
as
God.
Tayo Akane. Look,
What a title.
I know
That was something else.
it's something else, and it's not great. No offense to those who are enjoying it. I did not enjoy. Okay, let's move on from my awful opinions. Tifa, you have been watching something that you got in a mystery bag from Crunchyroll.
Where'd you find the time?
Look, when I went to Smash, I got a $50 Crunchyroll mystery bag, and one of the things I found in it was the full set Blu-ray of a anime called Hensuki. The actual Japanese title is very, very long.
Are you willing to fall in love with a pervert as long as she's a cutie? It was the
Yes.
English translation, I
maybe.
believe.
And I realized that I've actually seen this anime before when I started trying to rewatch it as well, because, you know, you're on a plane, you're coming home, you need something to do, might as well watch something. Yeah, this is a very interesting one, to say the least.
And funnily enough, it's rated PG.
It is
you,
not rated PG.
It is rated
Wait.
PG.
What?
The Blu-ray does not say PG on it.
Oh.
What does
The
the
Blu-ray
Blu-ray say
says
on it?
MA15 plus.
Oh.
So that's
Good.
interesting.
Yeah, online it says PG.
Okay,
so maybe the...
Now I'm a little intrigued. Can you give us a kind of a brief elevator pitch? What's the story?
So, the main character, I forgot what his name is, because I don't really care about what his name is. He's just, you know,
He's just the vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main character finds he gets a letter and a pair of panties with this letter. And he has
As
to
you
try
do.
and find out who these panties belong to based on the clues in this letter. And it's supposed to kind of be a weird parody off of like, oh, Cinderella left and left a shoe behind. That's literally on the blurb of the Blu-ray, not joking. It's literally if Cinderella left panties instead of a slipper.
Or it's like a murder mystery, but really weird.
Oh, Japan.
And as he goes around trying to figure out who might have left these, he finds out that all these different girls girls that go to his school have different weird fetishes, making it more difficult to figure out who the panties actually belong to because everyone's a freaking pervert and this guy's like, what is happening?
Is this sort of like a Comey can't communicate situation where it's like a special school where everyone has quirks, but it's just that they've
but
rounded
everyone
up all
has
the
a fetish.
pervies.
Yeah.
A mysterious love letter winds up in Keiki's locker with a pair of white panties. Will he be able to find the panty-leaving Cinderella? No.
Yeah, see? Literally.
Cue the Sherlock theme.
And it is PG-13,
15
PG-14, TV-14 in America. I think it's an Australian
Australian
MA.
15 plus.
Yeah, because our ratings are a bit more harsh than the US.
Yes.
But yeah, it's rated as PG online, which is hilarious.
It should not be rated PG. As someone that has seen this, it should probably not be rated PG.
Yeah.
Maybe like M. I guess that's what PG-13 is, but probably still a little higher, I think.
I think you're right. I think 15 is probably the
Considering
the
like
spot.
it's quite like sexual, obviously, as well. That's like the whole point is they're trying to get as close to H as possible without yeah
There's one of those each season these days.
There is.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
you got,
Crunchyroll.
I was going to say, and you got that in a box which anyone of any age could buy.
Yes.
Oh, that's inappropriate.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, Crunchyroll, bro. We need
Can
to
you
talk.
imagine just like a 5-year-old or something, like a child, and they get their parents buy the mystery box for them?
Yeah. Mystery box.
Oh,
How
no.
about lawsuit? Oh,
Surprise
okay.
lawsuit.
Well, let's move on to talk about something from this season. Isekai Oji-san, Uncle from Another World. This is a Netflix series that is out at the moment. No, this is good. This is very good. So you remember how we had the samurai house husband?
Oh, Way of the House Husband.
Way of the
Yeah,
House
yeah,
Husband.
Way of the House
Yakuza, not samurai.
Yeah.
Very different
Very,
things.
very different.
So we had that, and the animation was almost like a moving manga, and it really
Yeah.
upset people.
Yeah.
Think that same art style, but animated properly.
Okay.
Okay.
That's basically what Isekai Oji-san is. And it's the story about an uncle who was isekai'd away when he was 17. He was in a traffic accident, but his body has remained in a coma. And he has returned and woken up 17 years later at 34. And his nephew, who is now an adult, has come to look after him because neither of them are in touch with the family anymore. So he moves in with him. However, Uncle did actually go on a magical adventure and has returned and can do magic.
Yeah, that's the aspect I think is most interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
What kind of magic can he do? Like
You name it. He can fly. He can set things on fire.
There's no boundaries?
There's no boundaries.
Oh my God.
And it's hilarious because they decide to utilize that on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Because of course.
Yeah. There's like, you know how like in D&D you'll get like, you know, a bag of holding and you can just keep putting things in? Well, he's got like a 0 space bag of holding and they use that to pass a sword through him without him dying and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
You know, and then obviously everyone in the YouTube comments going, oh, I can tell it's fake.
you're not
That's so
wrong.
funny though, I'm not gonna lie.
But he's obsessed with Sega, particularly the Saturn, which would have been out when he came out. And he's had to come to terms with the fact that Sega doesn't make consoles anymore and that his favorite RPG fighter game from it didn't even rank in the top 100 best Saturn games. Like the number one game was a port from another console. He was like,
Oh my
that's just
God.
not fair. But we've gotten 2-3 episodes in. And by this point, the nephew's his old childhood friend has shown up. And she's brilliant.
That's good.
Like, she's a really good addition to it because, like, and the uncle basically had multiple. When he was in the other world, everyone called him ugly. Like, he was,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, always
That's
ugly.
just rude.
But there was an elf girl who always troubled him. She was 100% a tsundere, and he's been isekai'd before the term tsundere was coined.
Oh, yes. I remember we were talking about this. Yes.
So the nephew's just like,
amazing.
oh my God, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that she loved him, you know? And he's like, and then there's a great thing, and he goes, wait, Neon Genesis happened before Uncle went away. do you remember Oscar in Neon Genesis? And he went, oh man, did you know she was in love with Kaji? And everyone's just like, oh no, you don't understand. There's so many references, and they've licensed music from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's great.
And all these other things so they can use it. And
It sounds like it's been written brilliantly. Like it has
It
a real
is.
understanding for the old kind of geek culture.
it really does. And
Okay, yeah, I'm on board with this.
You definitely need to check it out.
I did just have a look at the director, and apparently he directed a couple of episodes of Sword Art Online and also Darling in the Franxx.
Okay.
And I thought this was quite interesting in looking at like isekais and stuff like that as well, especially as someone who worked on Sword Art Online, which is probably one of the most well-known isekais in a way.
I get what you mean, though. Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
it's one of the big famous ones.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really an isekai because the rule for isekai is that you can't return realistically.
I think there's definitely debate on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were transported to another world, regardless of the fact that they logged into it. But I mean, isekai is one of those genres where the lines are so blurry now.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to know, but it's also one of the things I found really funny about it is its opening has no right being as good as it is.
Oh, really?
And they've used Sega Saturn graphics to animate the main guy,
Oh my
the
god.
uncle.
nice.
So he's
Oh my
dancing
God.
around in like Virtua Fighter style graphics,
Oh my
and you're just
God,
like,
amazing.
okay. I wasn't expecting that.
All right, I am very sufficiently talked into it.
Yes. Watch it on Netflix or worldwide.
I don't want to.
You don't want
You don't want to.
But Netflix lost like 1 million subscribers in the past, I think it was 6 months, 12
Oh,
months.
jeez. Is
Well,
that because of the sharing? like,
no,
people?
no,
Oh, okay.
they were expecting to lose more. Actually, they were expecting to
Oh.
lose 2 million. I think they lost like.
I think
800
everyone
and something
came back
thousand.
for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
left.
that's true.
Well, no, they've still got like over 200 million subscribers worldwide, which is mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
But especially, this is going well off the topic, but I do not like the fact that they're heading towards the ad revenue stream.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why they're doing it, but guys, if you've got 200 million subscribers, each of them's paying at least $10, and we've got those who are on the higher plans,
You're
that's
making
$2.2
enough.
billion a
Yeah.
year. Instead, they need to start doing what Apple TV is doing, which is, create high quality shows and only a few of them instead of throwing too much out there.
Yeah.
And then just
agree.
license everything else. Like that's the way to do it. But look, we'll see. I mean, it's Netflix. Netflix do what Netflix do.
If someone from Netflix is listening, please take our advice and then give us a show.
Give us a show.
Give
okay.
us a show.
I have ideas.
The big Kawaii house. Put us in a house. You must make content to survive.
Oh God!
But it's like a terrace house styled house in Japan. It has to be in Japan.
I
Has to be
actually
in
like
Japan.
that show. It's like
Love
wholesome
Terrace
Big
House.
Brother.
It's so good.
It's like
It
actual
is.
wholesome, good, interesting Big Brother with
Yes.
interesting people. So not Big Brother.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, that's one of the things I found really fascinating about Terrace House is the fact that there's not like people get evicted. It's just you're here for this amount of time and,
Enjoy.
just enjoy. You've now
Yeah.
got a really nice place to live for the next 3-4 months, whatever
Yeah.
it might be.
It kind of reminds me of how I introduce Eurocamp to everyone. It's just like, I will tell you the story is about these high school girls that go camping alone in the Japanese wilderness without any contact with the outside world.
And they cook.
And yeah, that's
That's
it.
it. That's it. Nothing awful happens.
They have a wonderful time and then they go home and it's all good.
and then you do it again.
It's just like, yeah, you're sort of talking it up the same way for Terrace House. It's just like, these contestants will be locked inside a house, except they have the key.
And they can leave at any time.
Yeah,
and go to work and just do normal things.
And they get to use the car.
Yeah.
like
They go
whoa,
to a
it's
nice
huge.
restaurant.
But there is some drama in some of those episodes of Terrace House. Like,
yeah.
like genuinely, some of the people are not quite what they seem, but the
No.
majority of the people are just really lovely.
is the mole. Remember that show?
It only lasted one season and only here in Australia. So all of our international fans are like, what the heck?
Oh no, there were like 2 like very good seasons, and then the third one just sort of like, mwah. And then they tried to bring it back, and it was just Oh, it went down
Well, I mean,
like a
Big
rogue
Brother has
sequel.
been on every single commercial channel in Australia now.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, it just gets
That is true.
handballed around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an international one. It's like, selling a program to someone
Yeah.
and then they go, you can... It's like using Donald Trump's name. You have to pay a licensing fee to use the name, but you have to do everything else.
Well,
my
we've
God.
said it like twice now. Do we have to pay him something?
No.
Oh, good.
No. Sue us, I dare you.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
It's a bathhouse for the spirits.
Totoro came back, Dad. I saw it.
It's Laputa, a floating island.
Miyazaki!
Yay. We don't get to use this sting often enough, do we?
Aw.
So, Princess Mononoke. It's okay.
I wash your mouth out with soap.
I am, of course, kidding. So, Mononoke was a 1997 film. We went and saw it last night at the wonderful Luna Cinemas here in Leederville.
There is always just something about seeing an anime on the big screen
Yeah.
with a big crowd of people.
Especially something that's kind of like traditionally made as well and hand painted and drawn and things like that.
Not
You see
only
those
that,
aspects.
it's like from an older form of cinema where
Yeah.
they knew how to play with silence.
Yes. Yeah, that
And-
was just
Oh, there are just there are moments in this where there is absolutely no sound. And being in like a big crowded theater with everyone, it's almost church-like. I love it.
yes.
It was really fascinating how many people from older generations were there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they were just Luna members who were like, this sounds interesting, let's go check it out, or if they were like, elder weebs, if you will. But
The great elder weebs. He gives our respects.
so Princess Mononoke, this is the origin for this is amazing. So this actually, the idea came in the 1970s. Miyazaki drew a couple of sketches of a film about a princess living in the woods with a beast. And then he didn't actually start plotting out the storyboards until 1994. And the original sketch and idea he had has elements of Kiki's Delivery Service, Totoro, and all these other ones in it. There's actually a coloring book where it's called Princess Mononoke, and it's her with a weird amalgamation of Totoro and the Cat Bus. And it's a picture book.
So this was almost like very, very chill and comfy.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, there is,
Almost.
I think at Supernova, one of the booths, I think it was QBD or something, was selling one of the Princess Mononoke, like the original sketches and all that kind of stuff, and the original storyboard, which was really cool to see in comparison to the actual film.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, this is a film which just has stood the test of time. Like,
Yeah.
2 million %. Like, it's so relevant now
Yeah.
with everything that's going on, and
Yeah.
it's crazy to think so. So, if you haven't seen the film, the story is such: while protecting his village from a rampaging boar god, the young warrior Ashitaka becomes afflicted with a deadly curse. To find the cure that will save his life, he journeys deep into the sacred depths of the great forest spirit's realm, where he meets San, Princess Mononoke. And we'll come to that in a minute, because it's not her name, it's a title. A girl raised by wolves. It's not long before Ashitaka is caught in the middle of a battle between iron ore prospecting humans and the forest dwellers. He must summon the spirit powers and all of his courage to stop man and nature from destroying one another. Now, Princess Mononoke. Mononoke is actually a... what does it mean? It's a...
Like monster or beast.
Yes, not a name, a general term for a spirit or monster in Japanese traditional storytelling. And you will hear other characters say Mononoke in regards to the forest gods and spirits,
Yes, yeah.
if you're watching it in the Japanese version. And yeah, so she is the princess of the Mononokes, if that makes sense. So it's not her name, it's a title. Because I remember, like, you have a look online and some of the reviews are like, Princess Mononoke did this, Princess Mononoke did that. And it's
You
like,
can tell they're not really paying attention to the film.
yeah. And it's like, you didn't follow that at all, did you?
Because the other reason why they call her that is because obviously the people in the villages and all that stuff don't know her name because she doesn't speak to them. So
Yeah, and roaming around with a couple of wolves.
Yeah.
That all giant wolves. Yeah. Now, if you haven't seen this and you're considering watching the dub,
Honestly, the dub is quite good.
yeah, I think the dub is not bad.
it was scripted by Neil Gaiman.
Hey,
Aw.
Yep.
I like him.
Yep. Contains additional voices in there as well to explain, parts of Japanese culture to Western audiences, something we rarely see in modern anime. They're just trying to adapt it, which I mentioned in our video as well. Billy Crudup and Claire Danes voiced Ashitaka and San. There's also Billy Bob Thornton, Minnie Driver, John DiMaggio, Gillian Anderson, and Jada Pinkett Smith in the rest of the cast.
These are all pretty big names in Hollywood that were cast for this. I believe that was all voice. Disney was in charge of that. Miramax. Okay.
Yeah. So it was before Disney kind of got big onto it.
Disney was like Spirited Away type of.
Yeah,
once
that's
that came
definitely
out.
later.
So 4 years later.
Yeah.
Look, I love this film. And to be honest, and you know this, I didn't actually see it till about 5-6 years ago for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it really just kind of hit a chord with me when I first watched it. And it's just beautiful. Like the soundtrack, the way all the characters, interact as well.
It's that it feels like a fleshed out world as well. There's the whole there's mythology that is known about the different the gods that dwell in the woods and all the spirits and stuff.
Yeah.
There's some idea that this is stuff that is established and has been discovered already, but never fully, explored. The gods keep to their realm, the humans keep to theirs, until this Iron Town comes about and starts encroaching into nature.
Yeah.
But even then, the villainess,
Lady Eboshi.
Lady Eboshi, yes. I don't even think that she's what you'd call a purely evil kind of antagonist.
I think that's what's great about this film as well, is that every character has good and bad to them as well, especially when you look at Lady Eboshi, for example. I really like her character, and she's genuinely trying to do something good for the humans and the people, and she's kind of created equality amongst these women, that she's freed from slavery as well in order to help them out, and she trusts them so much more than, say, a male general of that time would apparently trust them. But at the same time, she's kind of got somewhat of greed around her. She's trying to push to kind of...
She wants to gain power so that she can protect them from the other samurais that want to take over the realm.
So it's like she's attempting to do good things, but doesn't realize how much of an impact the things she's doing is having as well. So it's quite interesting.
It's less a matter of greed and more a matter of desperation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is also during the Muromachi period. So this is where the whole shogunate system's starting to collapse. And they mention it in the actual thing. So this is around, I think it was 1300 to 1500, which is, funnily enough, where a lot of the traditional monogataris were written, well, just before the 1300s, I should say. But this is when Oda Nobunaga was roaming the land and doing things and then getting reincarnated as a dog.
Yeah, we thought that was...
there's we haven't had one in a couple of years, actually. But
Nobunaga one,
Yeah, Nobunaga reincarnation. We have had so many Nobunaga animes over the years. But the landscapes that were done for this, they actually went on a trip. So they went out to Yakushima off Kyushu and took pictures of the ancient forests and landscapes there. And then they went to the mountains of Shirakami-sanchi in northern Honshu as well to get the other sort of looks for it. And you can see there's an art book that was released quite a few years ago, which the whole thing is actually online with all the initial art they came up with that was used for the films, and then images of some of the actual cells.
I have this art book.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
There
it was
you go.
given to me for my birthday one year.
You should have brought it in for show and tell.
I should have.
You should have. Little picture there.
Oh my god.
But yeah, look, if you do want to check out Princess Mononoke, thankfully it's actually very accessible. Because it's on Netflix worldwide, and if it's not on Netflix in your region, that means you have HBO Max in your region, which will have it instead. And I think I can honestly say, if you get the opportunity to go see it in the cinema, it's worth doing.
Definitely.
And you might even get some merch. We got pins.
Yeah.
Yes, we did get pins.
It's like a little trophy that says, "Hey, I watched a movie."
Yeah. Yes.
Achievements.
I do wonder, how do you think this compares, seeing it in the cinema, to what we've seen with modern anime films? Because when we see things like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, they're very... I've mentioned this before, but they're very more Western style of storytelling,
Yeah.
3-arc structure where you have the lift, the low, then the lift again.
It's also kind of different as well because, like, so Princess Mononoke is obviously a anime film that doesn't come from a series in comparison to, say, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen that comes out of a series.
Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer are shonens
in a way, yeah.
And it feels like there's, they are continuations, but they're also sort of self-contained stories.
Yeah.
I think, like we said, with Mononoke's world building, you are told a lot about what is going on in the world. There is a lot more implication. So it's allowed to sort of extend itself and sort of tell its story in sort of a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know, if you're going to compare it to like modern stuff in that kind of a branch.
Maybe like Bubble or something is a Netflix anime that came out recently, which is definitely not as good as Princess Mononoke. I think they still have that aspect of world building, but I find that because obviously these films are shorter nowadays because they want to kind of push action after action after action, and they don't want to develop as much around what the actual world is, what the rules are, what's happening here, or how they even got here in the first place. And for example, in Bubble, there are a lot of, I guess, questions about how they ended up in this place with bubbles, I guess, because just to kind of summarize what the anime is kind of about, the film, basically there's like an explosion of bubbles that happens in the middle of Tokyo, and then it kind of creates this weird underworld, and nobody knows why this little underworld exists, and they basically kind of have to cut off Tokyo from the rest of the world, and people have to leave. But some people ended up in the bubble, and some people can go into it, but I don't know, you never get told if they can go out. You never get told
Hey, Kat.
you never get told how this has actually happened. You know what the main cause of it was, but how did that cause happen? Like what kind of created this person that caused this and things like that.
The Bubble episode.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's now the Bubble and Cat episode. That's what it is.
And they're all like scientists and stuff like that, but it's like they vaguely try to explain things enough that you don't need any more of an explanation, and then continue on with action and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what we
comparison.
saw with Belle.
And I think this also comes down to like the style of storytelling as well.
Yes.
Certain storytellers are very adept or just want to get to the point.
Yeah.
And whereas others want to meander about and give you an actual world to play in.
I do feel like as well, though, even though Princess Mononoke is obviously quite a long film.
It's 2 hours, 20 minutes.
2 hours 20. That
it's
is like...
it's still like... It's continuously interesting. Like, things continuously happen. There
Its
isn't like
pacing is
a
amazing.
long break. I even found like Kiki's Delivery Service, which kind of has the same sort of narration style, was a lot more boring because it was a lot more like just slow. There wasn't, even though they were discussing things and things were happening and the world was being built, there wasn't much actually continuously happening within that. There wasn't actually direction.
Yeah.
Whereas Princess Mononoke has a solid line of direction, but other things are happening in the meantime, and you kind of explore along the way, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's I actually did just find a quote. Miyazaki gave sort of like a foreword at the start of this when it was like first dubbed and released into the West. And he says, with Princess Mononoke, I intentionally threw out all of the rules of entertainment movie making, which is why it will take some time for a true evaluation of this film to emerge. I hope you will all enjoy this ridiculously long 2 hours and 13 minutes. So even he was aware that like he wasn't sticking by the normal kind of paradigms, and that it was like a bloody long movie. I wonder if he's like got a director's cut somewhere, which is like
I
3.5
hope so.
hours.
Oh my god, I would watch that.
The Zack Snyder cut. Do you want 7 hours of them walking from point A to point B?
That's The Hobbit. But yes, I now want an anime version of The Hobbit. Thank you very much.
Extended version of The Hobbit, yeah.
Well, I mean, there is an anime version of Lord of the Rings coming out.
Yeah, there is.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, did you not know about this?
The Rohan one is part of Amazon. Yeah.
We'll see. Look, it could be good. It could be trash. We will see. We won't know until it actually arrives. And we haven't actually got anything to go off on it just yet.
No.
So I just kind of enjoyed how they handle a lot of parts of this film. Like, it was cool to see how they were introducing the use of guns in particular, like
Yeah,
the evolution of that during that period. They went and said, look, we've got the traditional Chinese cannons here, the Chinese muskets, if you will, which were like the traditional sort of dragon head steel bits on a pole, which was a pole arm weapon. And then the migration to, what we were starting to see in Europe, which was the musket style thing, the single handheld thing with the single shot. So that kind of gives you an idea of when it's meant to be set. That'd be around the 1450s, which is when that sort of stuff started coming out. And then can we just talk about the Deer God?
Yeah, what specifically?
Face.
It's weird. It's weird
I
face.
love it.
I mean, the whole thing is that these are supposed to be these are supposed to be supernatural entities. These are they are tied to the animal that they represent, but not quite.
Yeah.
The Deer God, it's got like hawk feet, deer body, human face.
Yeah.
Well,
Pokemon X antlers.
But also can change into the Nightwalker as well. So it's got kind of like two different versions of itself.
But I just always remember the... have you guys seen the AMV Hell gag for it?
which one was this again?
It's the scene where it's San is feeding him.
Can I help you enjoy this, Snickers?
Yeah.
I had to resist singing that out in the cinema.
Oh my God.
I know. It's just like, it finishes...
Over chocolate-covered mountaintops.
And they've got the guy from
Beck
playing it in the background, like they green screened him in.
Nice.
And then it just goes, the world, and it zooms in on the face of the deer.
Oh my
You're
God.
like, no.
Yeah, I did hear a few people in the cinema giggle when the deer's face was just sort of in front of the screen.
There were
I think it's kind of supposed to be a little bit like that as well,
It's
though, to
unnerving.
kind of like,
There were quite a few laughs in the cinema as well,
Yeah.
which I found kind of unexpected. Like, I was like,
really? I think I laughed a fair bit as well,
Oh,
because
yeah.
there are some parts that are
Yeah.
like actually supposed to be funny, but I feel like sometimes people that go to see a film like this are like, it's supposed to be serious,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
it's
then
not all serious.
I think I
not.
get what you were saying, Carl. It's like it's surprising to hear, the people reacting and laughing with surprise at that thing, which kind of tells me there were a bunch of people there who it was their first time.
that, or they're just like sitting there going, "I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see big deer face man." I actually do also like the fact that because this was when he did Nausicaa. It wasn't when Miyazaki did Nausicaa. It wasn't underneath Studio Ghibli's brand. It's always been treated as a Studio Ghibli film, but it wasn't by Studio Ghibli at the time. And you've got a lot of similarities between the endings of these two.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at it. And they both got very similar messages. But I also like the fact that the romance between San and Thingo. San and Thingo. Ashitaka, thank you.
No, it's Thingo.
Ashithingo.
Nano.
Sounded so Australian just there.
So the romance between Sen and Ashithingo. Yes.
Yeah. I liked how it was...
Understated?
Yeah.
It's a secondary plot point.
It
It's
was.
not like
It wasn't the main
plot point.
story,
Yeah.
which we're so used to seeing in films now. It's like, hey, we've got a big, burly action film. Like, I bet you Bullet Train is going to have a romance subplot.
I mean, I don't know with who though, but
The train.
now that would be interesting.
He's like, I can't quit you.
Oh,
I
God.
can't quit riding bullet trains.
Oh my God.
I like trains. But it's like it's what you were saying. It's like they didn't have the big romantic kiss at the end.
Yeah.
They didn't
Well, I mean, the kiss technically was her feeding him.
Yeah.
And it
I
was...
appreciate that though. that
it was
wasn't
understated.
Yeah.
It wasn't, a massive, ooh. If it's going to be a romance film, absolutely. But this is more about the world that they're in.
Yeah,
what's
like
happening.
spoilers. At the end, they do sort of say that they will live nearby and meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not really explicit that this is like the happily ever after.
Yeah,
it's simply
it kind of shows it more like they're kindred spirits in a way
Yeah.
instead of like being a full-blown romance or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... I also... I love the lady who's in charge of all the women at the forge.
Yeah.
She's so fun.
Oh, yeah, she is so funny as
Her
well. The way
character
she...
design reminds me of someone from one of the other Ghibli films, and I can't put my
you
finger on it.
You could say that for everyone though. Like the woman who's selling Ashitaka rice at that little village.
yeah.
She reminds me so much of the woman from Spirited Away, like the girl that's showing Sen around.
This is true. I think she reminds me of someone from Pompoko.
I was thinking she's like what's the girl from Pocoroso? What's her name? Redhead.
Oh, yeah.
Main character.
But, yeah, I know. We know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more that like there is a specific character type that just turns up in Miyazaki's things, and he
Theo.
Theo, exacta. Yeah, he just likes these sort of spirited, strong, just sort of outspoken women.
And I really like how dynamic they animate them as well.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really great.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And I loved how well they've adapted like the clothing for both the men and the women.
Yeah.
Because it felt very well steeped in the time that it was meant to be in.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
In particular, Ashikata's thingy coat, the hay coat.
Yeah.
Because at the time, you know, access to wildlife and furs wasn't necessarily for everyone with how many people there were and how limited wildlife space was. So,
and not to mention, it's like they were working with fabrics of a completely different time, so they would be wearing less because, like in certain summer months, they'd want to actually, breathe.
Yeah.
And you see that in Ashitaka's outfit as well. Like he has the sort of the shoulder cape thing, and like it's the full bare chest.
Yeah.
Very, very old school kind of hunter gear.
Yeah.
Now, it would be a complete miss if I didn't point out that music is, of course, by Joe Hisaishi.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
The music is incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
Frankly, you can just put on any Miyazaki music in the back, like any Miyazaki movie's soundtrack in the background of whatever you're doing, and it becomes 100 times more chill and zen.
I feel like the soundtrack just really immerses you in there as well, because it just feels so right for the time it's supposed to be set as well. It's just.
I think I might look into getting some Ghibli vinyls.
Hell yes.
That'd be pretty dope
Shumi
to
Shop
put on.
sells them.
Hey, Shumi, going to hit you up. Going to hit you up real quick. Alrighty, but with that, I think we will move on to something a little bit different and talk about the news. But it's very weird whenever you see an audience review and it starts with hello.
Oh.
Hello, I grew up to love this movie with all my heart.
Oh.
It's like,
Hello.
That's lovely.
Hello. It's great to meet you. I'd like to talk about this movie I've been watching.
I also forgot how much violence is in this movie as well.
Actually, though, before we move on, that was a man's head.
I was like, just every piece of a body just being chopped off at some point. I was like, this was my favorite movie as a child.
Shoots a guy's arms off. It's great.
I know.
And then his head,
beautiful.
I'm just kind of a bit like, that's a bit overpowered.
But
it
only happens because of his curse. That's the point, is the curse also makes him able to just shoot them, and it, like, no matter where he shoots from, he can aim at them perfectly. And it's to do with the curse, because it only happens when he is using that as his main
draw
hand.
arm. Yeah.
Oh, but you see him as a pretty capable
He is
kind of marksman.
So
Very
it
stuff.
kind of
I figured
goes
it's
in
more
together.
that he's a capable marksman, but the power that the arm gave him made it a lot more accurate.
Yeah.
To what he was doing, because holy cow, like, you see people have their arms cut off, their legs cut off, decapitated. You see like a guy ride along after he's been decapitated and then fall off the horse, and you're
but
like,
then also the people getting blown up with the grenades and everything as well, and it's just,
there was more human violence than there was animal, really.
Yeah.
Which was
there was plenty of animal violence.
I mean, there was plenty of animal violence considering the plot of the story, but I did forget.
Yeah.
Like, I went in and went.
We did mention this as well when we were talking about the Akira Princess Mononoke double and how Akira was beforehand.
first,
so I was like, I think Princess Mononoke might be a little more violent, like a bit more, adult maybe because of the violence. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you can get that on, you can watch it on Netflix or HBO Max. Alternatively, you can rent it on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and YouTube for about $3. So plenty of places to catch it. It's definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it, or actually just watch it anyway. It's like 25 years. It's worth celebrating, I think.
Kawaii-Fi.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
All right, let's start with controversy.
Yay.
Live action Yu Yu Hakusho.
Well,
Live actions and reboots and remakes and sequels and prequels.
Oh, look, it's
nothing's
not...
original anymore.
Except for a Happy Meal.
No.
Now, Yu Yu Hakusho is getting a live-action Netflix series, and we've had the cast revealed. It's going to debut in December 2023, so we've got a good 18 months to go until this actually lands. Now, this is being adapted by the guy who did Alice in Borderland, which is...
It's actually good.
Yeah, Kazutaka Sakamoto.
I've heard good things about it, but
And-
it's still Netflix.
It's well, actually, Alice in
Technically
Borderland,
not,
Ride or Die, and The Naked Director. All
okay.
three are really good. And this is being produced at Robot, so not at Netflix in-house, which says a
They
lot.
just they're the distributor, so their name goes on it.
All right.
so.
I have heard of the Naked Director, or I've met a Naked Director, either one.
They did the live-action Assassination Classroom.
Okay.
Yeah, they've actually got a pretty big list. The Stand By Me Doraemon movies, the animation production, 1 and 2. Stray Sheep. Don't know what that is. They've done a lot of live action, and they've also done a lot of... Oh, they did the graphic design for Vexile.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And they did the publicity copy for Wolf Children. Apparently,
Okay.
that's worth
Publicity
listing.
copy?
Yeah, I guess that's cool.
Basically, like the things they send out to like the cinemas and stuff. They'll
Okay,
like
okay.
copy. Yeah.
Publicity copy for Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Gintama's final movie, Giovanni's Island prologue production for Naruto, the last movie.
So they're
Oh.
good at editing.
Yeah, they've done a lot
Okay.
of stuff that
Interesting.
I wasn't expecting. So that's all good and well. Our main actor, however, is Takumi Kitamura, and he's from the live-action Tokyo Revengers and Let Me Eat Your Pancreas.
Oh,
So,
All right.
okay.
yeah. So he's also the vocalist and guitarist for the rock band Dish, and he's going to portray the role of Yusuke Urameshi in the series.
Yeah, he looks.
He looks the part.
Good. Yeah, yeah.
He looks the
I
part.
agree.
So I'm willing to give him a go for it.
I don't know. He doesn't have the kind of the Vegeta widow's peak going on.
No, he doesn't. I just saw like the short description for that not PG manga that I showed you earlier, and I'll just get you to look at the last 2 words there. So yeah. If you want to know what that is, Patreon, I guess. So look, this is going to be interesting to see how it's handled. We were discussing this earlier, and I think you said, Tifa, that you think this could be a property that works well, considering that it's, man, the cat's gone wild.
I mean, Yu Yu Hakusho, that goes back to practically like early 90s,
I feel like
80s even.
It's long enough that having a live action is technically somewhat warranted. Like, having something else to commemorate the fact that it's been so long kind of works in comparison to doing Death Note 3 or 4 times. Like, I think that's just ridiculous and unnecessary.
And they're doing it again.
Yeah, but because it's also the same people.
I'm gonna do it again.
Because it's also the same people that did Alice in Borderlands, which I do think is one of the best live actions that we have gotten recently as
I've
well.
heard many
so
good things. Yeah.
Season
it is
2
just
is
incredible.
December, isn't it?
Yes,
I
it
can't
is.
wait. We should do an episode on it.
Yes.
Yes. Because we talk a lot about live bad actions, but there are good live actions out there. Good example is Love is War's live action is pretty good.
Right.
Wodakoi's live action is apparently really good. What was the other one that you and I were...
Grand Blue.
Grand Blue.
Oh.
Its
I
live
love that
action was
anime.
fantastic. We just decided to let the cat
That
in.
was an O of recognition as well.
Yeah. We should do a Grand Blue episode.
I think we chatted about it
Should we do a
earlier,
live
but-
action one?
Oh, hells yes.
Ooh,
Let's
I've
do
only
that.
read the manga.
Oh, really?
Oh, the anime's great. Everyone's got
Okay.
Titan face.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
That's
not
honestly the
wrong.
best way I could put it.
No, the anime is definitely worth a watch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, look, Yu Yu Hakusho, geez, this came out in 80s,
80s?
90s
Yeah.
now, it would have been, the manga, and then it was adapted into an anime in the early 90s from memory.
Because Hunter x Hunter was 1994, so.
Yeah.
And there's certain comparisons between the style, like the whole mono-colored outfits and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's it's a product of its time, so
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see what it will be like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not holding my breath.
Yu Yu Hakusho was 1990 to 1994 for the manga, and then Hunter x Hunter followed on directly afterwards. TV series 92 to 95, 2 films, 2 OVAs. You can apparently watch the whole thing on Funimation, but I don't know if it's over on Crunchyroll yet. So definitely worth... there was a new OVA in 2018.
Whoa,
There
what?
was?
Yeah, it's apparently shipped with the 4th part of the 25th anniversary Blu-ray box set.
Aw.
I didn't hear about that at all.
So it adapted the 2-shot bonus chapter from the manga's 7th volume, as well as the manga's penultimate chapter, All or Nothing. What about the ultimate chapter?
The ultimate chapter you must earn.
There was also
combat.
They've done a stage play that ran in 2019.
Yes, I do know that.
I'm so intrigued by this whole culture of
I
turning.
love
Look
the
at
stage.
that.
Yeah, I know. It looked
Okay,
incredible.
that looks great.
Yeah.
Honestly, Japanese stage plays have the best posters ever. Like, they just look so much better than any of the live actions they do.
But it's also that there is such a culture of turning particularly shonens
Yeah.
into stage plays.
Yeah,
What
like
is
Naruto
with
and
that?
everything.
Bleach had a
Yeah.
huge one.
I don't know. I don't know how that works on stage either. I'm intrigued
Bleach,
to
they
see.
just drink it. That's
Like
they go on there
Naruto
and
and stuff
throw
as
bleach
well,
at each
though.
other. It's great.
I remember seeing clips of the Bleach one and what's his name? Uchihara? The Quincy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he drew this big sort of LED bow. As sort of his magical bow thing. It's just now that is a prop.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Okay.
I want to take that to Supernova.
That's interesting.
Now, let's move on to something also equally old. We are going to talk about Urusei Yatsura.
Oh, wow.
Because this is a 1978 to 1987 manga. It's got a new series coming out shortly. It's by Rumiko Takahashi, who did Ranma and a Half, Inuyasha, and so on. And this is actually coming out in October now, and they did say it was going to be getting a full year worth, so a full 4 seasons of anime.
Still so
Crazy.
intrigued by this. Are they
Yeah.
going to update it to suit the times, or
I do not know. I'm assuming so. It is going to
is it going to be a snapshot of the 70s or so?
Interesting.
They're apparently going to be adapting the whole thing, but
Okay.
they're going to cherry pick the best stories from it.
Okay.
So, and it's going to be, what we do know now is that the first season is a half-year run. So it's going to be 25, 26 episodes non-stop
Pretty good.
starting in October
Yeah.
over the Christmas break. And then when they're literally calling that first season, so it's definitely going to be season 1, season 2. The question is when season 2 is actually going to arrive. We haven't got anything on that because that's fair. They haven't even started.
Yeah, we've heard. Yeah, I mean, if there was more to hear, we'd probably have heard it.
Yeah.
Now
A lot of us are paying attention to
They've
that.
announced most of the cast already, but
okay.
I love the fact that they're Kana Hanazawa will play Ran, Lum's childhood friend who comes from space and transfers to Tomobiki High. It's cool. And then you have a look at her art style, and it's this beautiful,
Wow.
That's really nice.
pink, purple, blue sort of.
Yeah, that sort of blue outline around the
Yeah.
hair is fascinating.
So
I really like
I
that.
think that if you've seen the coloring of the characters for the other one, it does
Yeah.
look like anyone who could be from the outer space sections. I love how it's just
okay.
the bunny's definitely from space.
This is really cool the way they've done this promotionally as well, the images.
Yeah,
It's nice.
The promotional images have been done really well. All the voice actors are dressed up
But
as their
it's
characters.
see, they are of course they have stuck with the original style of the characters, but that also means they've got the whole full
Yeah.
voluminous 80s hair thing
I
going
love
on.
it.
Which
but
I'm
it still
so
looks
happy of.
so modern as well, in a weird way.
does.
Just
This
It
is
just
going
looks
to be a
good.
trip.
it looks good.
I can't wait. This is a romance series. It's Rumiko Takahashi. Of course, it's romance.
Oh, she writes good romance.
She writes good everything. She's one of my favorite manga. So I'm very excited for this, obviously, because I keep bringing it up. But yeah, we're going to get that in October. So that's going to be pretty good. Now, on to more romance, because that's me. Teasing Master Takagi, the anime film that is coming out, It opened in June in Japan, and we're going to get it in US theaters in August. So
Speaking of
August
more-
14,
That's pretty close,
15.
yeah.
It's like, speaking of more stuff Kyle's excited about.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Now, that should hopefully mean, because distribution partners haven't been listed. Yes, new distribution partner has been listed now. Sentai Filmworks.
Hey.
So
Okay.
any region which has high dive will likely get a screening, that means. So hopefully we'll get one here. But it does look like it's going to be, it says select theatres limited run. And it's only 2 days.
I'm intrigued to know how they're going to make this as a movie, because it's very sort of almost sketch comedy kind of bits.
Well, if you've watched season 3, you'll notice. So season 3 actually pushed the manga to move. And season 3 has gone beyond the scope of the manga. I think this will be the final chapter, and this will be, I'm hoping, will be them getting together, acknowledging that they do like each other, and then a time skip forward to when, they get married, and then the time skip forward to when they've got their kid.
Oh, you reckon?
Well,
I was thinking if they
be
do the time
interesting.
skip, that would be sort of like the end credits bit.
Well, that's what I mean,
Just
yeah.
beforehand,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So there'll be something like a big sort of moment like we saw at the end of season 2 with the festival. And then hopefully something from there, because you can only really drag out the same joke for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I mean, you say that, but Kaguya-sama
Well,
did
no.
it for 3 seasons.
This has had 3 seasons.
Oh, and now it's got a movie. Is this sort of like the trend?
Yeah. But I think this will be really good. And I think if you can catch it in the cinemas and you're a fan of the series, it's worth going and checking out.
It's very cute.
Because, it's going to be good. All right. Now, more movies.
Yay.
Dun-dun-dun.
Makoto Shinkai's next film.
Yeah.
Suzume's Door Locking, which is Suzume no Tojimari. Now, this has had the English subtitle trailer dropped. We did share it on our social media.
So cool.
It looks
It does look
phenomenal. Like, holy cow. I love the character designs. I love the world designs. I'm very intrigued by the chair with 3 legs, which is sentient. But we have been told...
If I had a nickel for all of the sentient chairs we'd seen in animes, I could think of like 2 off the top of my head. Just as much, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Yeah. This is going to be getting a international screening in early 2023. This will be as big as Your Name and Weathering with You. Hopefully it does perform better than Weathering with You. I actually really liked Weathering with You, but a lot of people seem to not enjoy it as much as Your Name.
I like the music.
Oh, and the visuals. Like, holy cow. But this is going to be a big deal next year.
Yeah,
this is going to be
for
something
sure.
that we're going to see people cosplaying. We're going to see people performing the music for, or just obsessing over. I mean, that tends to happen with Makoto's films.
I will cosplay as the door.
I mean,
Do it.
if you like. Now, they do have something interesting with this. So the voice actress who's going to voice Suzume is 18. It is her first voice acting role in anime, and she apparently vied for the role with over 1,700 other applicants in the auditions.
Which is crazy to think about for like a Shinkai movie. That's like it's a big deal.
It really is.
Yeah, I feel like the audition numbers for this are quite high because there are so many prestigious acting schools in Japan as well. And what they usually do at all of these voice acting schools is they obviously put students forward for certain roles. It's usually very small roles and things because they want to start their resume, start getting them going before they graduate and things like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like this could have been a slightly more open audition than what you would usually see for a large anime film. So obviously any prestigious school would want their name attached to it in some
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah,
so
you were
so many people would.
you were telling me about the whole process of how voice actors are basically only hired out of these schools in Japan.
Yeah, so like you go to a school and then if you're lucky enough to get in, then you start kind of the process and then you go into an agency that's like affiliated with the school as well.
Wow.
And there are barely any kind of freelance, voice actors out there. And it's such a competitive industry that this is basically the clear-cut way to go. Otherwise, they're
very,
just not
very
going to look at
official,
you.
yeah.
Especially because Japan likes their paperwork. They like to make sure that everything is officially done, that you have all the accreditation and stuff to back it up. And they also like their voice actors to voice act a particular way.
Yeah, they do like their paperwork.
But it's like I said, it's like for someone with practically nothing to their IMDb at all.
Yeah.
I think she has like a couple of things, and she was a Power Ranger at one point as well.
And she's
really?
and she's a model as well. So she models in her spare time, I guess, or as a secondary job.
So for her to just, enter the industry with a Shinkai movie on her resume, that is huge.
Yeah. She must have come from a very notable school as well, I believe, in order to get such high recognition.
An incredible performance.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
said, she beat out like 1,700 other applicants. That is...
It's mind-blowing. So,
I'm impressed. I'm intrigued.
You better do good.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is on. No pressure, love, but you better be good.
I'm just sort of picturing it now. The open scene happens and she's got like the most smoker's cough voice ever. What's this door? What's this mysterious door?
I'm back from 4,000 years of imprisonment. Oh, wait, she wasn't Rita, but she could be. Actually, what would you cast Rita Repulsa as?
Wait, what?
Take Rita Repulsa's voice. What character would you cast that as? Because you know how, like, I've just had an idea. You know, in like the Rumiko Takahashi films, you always got the short, diminutive old people. Can you imagine? So you've always got like the short, old pervert.
Yeah.
What about like a short, old lady pervert with that voice?
What's that for?
It should be the slug from Monsters, Inc.
Oh, yeah. yeah. That
Wazowski, you didn't file your paperwork.
For you, that means I will attack you.
Sending one evil monster at you one by one.
Because, that's how we do it in the business. Alrighty. I think we're going to wrap up.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Gee, Brain, how long's this wrap-up going to take?
Oh, I don't know. The same time it does every mate.
It changes every time, and it was like half an hour at one point. What the hell?
Oh, no.
You're listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. That's what they say.
We are not that close yet. But if you do want to do it, you may.
Yeah, that's okay. You want to do it this time?
I'm okay.
You're okay? Thanks, okay. Does Liger want to do it? The cat who's snuck into the studio because it's his feeding time? Quite possibly. Now, next episode, it is the 20th anniversary of Dot Hack.
Ooh.
Yes, so this is one that Aaron's been very keen on, and he'll be back with us to talk about it because Dot Hack is like the precursor to the modern 3D sort of VR anime genre. It's the precursor to Sword Art Online and what was the other one?
Like there's always been a lot of like, big isekai animes throughout anime history. But this was the one that really set up the whole video game one, which became hugely popular, especially lately.
Yeah. So we'll be digging into that and talking a little bit about the history of Dot Hack signs, Dot Hack reboot, Dot Hack many.
Yep.
It's got video games too, which Aaron is going to be full ball on because I think he's just finished them all.
Yeah.
He went back and played the original 4
in preparation.
Now, a bit of shameless promoting for Tifa. Tifa, you've been over at Smash. You have many YouTube videos.
Yes.
From
What's
Smash.
the count now?
At least 12.
12
I think.
videos.
Yeah.
All right, you covered everything.
I really did.
Yeah. So
actually, there were things that I missed out on, but I tried.
You tried. Well, look, if you are interested in seeing what a anime convention in Australia is like, or if you couldn't go to Smash and wanted to see some of the panels that were done for the Trash Taste Boys, for Sid Snap, Giduk, Anime Man, Sea Dog VA. I think you even got the After Dark panel, which had Kevin Penkin on there as well, which I know one of our Patreons is a very big fan of. You can go check that out on the BT Kennedy. Aaron likes to say
Kennedy.
That Kennedy over on YouTube. We'll have a link in the video description.
Thanks.
And we've also got to celebrate because you've now hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations.
That makes you eligible to receive the wooden YouTube play button.
It makes me eligible to
The plywood.
get like 50 cents per video.
Look, I mean,
These days, that's
not bad. But yeah, look, if you are one of our subscribers, go over to Tifa's channel as well. A lot of similar content over there. Now, if you would like to support the channel, subscribe for starters. Like we'd like to have you on board and to share all these goofy things we do.
Give us Patreon money and we'll give you weird stuff in return.
Yeah, like us talking. What did we talk about?
Long
Thanos.
Furbies.
Long Furbies.
Last time. And
Naked Thanos.
Naked Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
This puts a smile on my face.
more than just a smile.
Human teeth, I believe, came up as well, like old dentures. Oh, and
oh, yes.
the horrifying doll that was made by Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one.
That was a weird dive. Yeah, as you can probably tell, the pre-show isn't necessarily very anime-based. It's kind of whatever we're talking about before we hit the record buttons. But that doesn't work because we recorded it. It's what we talk about before the show, before we get started
Before we
proper.
start putting music behind everything we say and sounding all professional and stuff.
Professional.
Professional.
We are looking at doing more live streams as well. That's kind of... It's in limbo because we don't really have anywhere we can do it properly at the moment because my house is under construction and that's where we were going to set it all up and make it look all nice.
And I don't know what to play anymore. Among Us isn't even popular anymore.
Actually, let me tell you, when you play Among Us on Twitch, there are a lot of people watching because that's when my peak viewers come in, is when I'm playing Among Us because nobody else plays it.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of has the reverse effect because not as many people play it anymore.
Are we going to have a Among Us stream?
Yes, let's
Should we just do it?
Let's do it.
We'll link all
Let's
the
do it.
audio on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Among Us. Oh, it's going to be good times. There's plenty coming up. We've got more videos coming as always, and maybe we'll go eat something.
Oh, yes. I like food.
Hell yeah.
Do we need to buy you something to eat? Are you that hungry?
I did just try out Cafe Yuma in Victoria Park. Expensive.
Ooh.
And yeah, I'll tell you more soon.
Yeah. We might have to do a visit. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Join the Kawaii-Fi community. Head over to our social channels.